people together from all walks of life. You're gonna hear about my party, they're gonna be shutting them down, they're gonna probably be arresting me, doing all types of crazy things just because we wanna have a good time.
This morning, watch how federal agents took Sean Diddy Combs into custody. He's seen in this video entering the Park Hyatt Hotel in Midtown Manhattan with others when agents from Homeland Security Investigations approach and separate him. They place Combs under arrest and lead him out the front door in handcuffs.
From living it up at parties and open bars to now being stuck behind bars, P. Diddy's life has taken a huge turn in just a week, and fans are shouting, he deserves it. Word is, Diddy's not eating in jail because he's worried someone might be trying to poison his food, and he's slowly losing his grip while sitting in jail. On top of that, he's been moved to a protective unit, sharing space with convicted fraudster Sam Bankman-Fried. So what's it really like for a high-profile star like Diddy to be locked away in one of the roughest, most dangerous jails in the US? After Diddy's arrest last Monday, following a federal grand jury indictment, he's facing serious charges like racketeering, conspiracy, and S-ticking. The 14-page document lists heavy accusations against him, including forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. It paints a troubling picture, claiming Diddy showed a pattern of mistreatment towards women involving verbal, emotional, physical, and SA, along with manipulative tactics. One of the most unsettling aspects of Diddy's situation involves the long-standing rumors about his so-called freak-offs. These were described as over-the-top, inappropriate parties where Diddy allegedly set up and recorded questionable activities, often without the knowledge or consent of the participants. According to the indictment, many of these women were reportedly given substances without their knowledge to keep them under control, forcing them into situations they hadn't agreed to. It wasn't just Diddy involved, though. His associates are also named in the indictment, with claims that they helped organize these events by booking locations and preparing the rooms with specific items. When authorities searched Diddy's homes again, they reportedly found disturbing items, including 1,000 bottles of baby oil, lubricants, and even IV bags. These IV bags were allegedly used when Diddy, his associates, or victims became exhausted or overdosed on substances, showing how extreme these gatherings were. In an interview with TMZ, Diddy's attorney Mark Agnifilo addressed the widely discussed discovery of over 1,000 bottles of baby oil found at Diddy's properties. Agnifilo claimed his client purchased in bulk because of his large homes, even saying, "I don't know what 1,000 bottles are for." He tried to downplay the figure, questioning its accuracy despite it being cited in the federal indictment. Agnifilo suggested Diddy simply made bulk purchases from big box stores like Costco, but Costco later denied ever selling baby oil in such quantities. When questioned about the role of baby oil in the alleged freak-offs involving Diddy, Agnifilo maintained these encounters were consensual. He argued that while such gatherings may seem shocking, they involved adults making consensual choices. He dismissed any insinuation that Diddy's bulk purchasing habits should be criminalized. However, this explanation did little to quell public skepticism, especially given the gravity of the allegations. Agnifilo hinted that Diddy might take the stand to tell his side of the story, a move that could be pivotal as the case unfolds. What's even more shocking is that these freak-offs weren't just a recent thing. They reportedly date back to the early 1990s. This means Diddy has allegedly been involved in these types of activities for decades, with some victims unaware of what was happening during the multi-day events. With all that being said, it's hard to feel sympathy for Diddy starving himself in jail, given the severity of the accusations against him. What he's facing goes far beyond just missing a few meals. Right now, he's sitting in federal jail, awaiting his next court appearance on October 9th. And just when things couldn't get worse, another woman, Talia Graves, came forward with her own disturbing story. In a civil lawsuit, she claims that back in 2001, Diddy and one of his bodyguards got her under the influence, SA'd her, and even recorded the whole thing. Now, while these accusations are really serious, they're not exactly new for Diddy. Since November 2023, he's faced similar claims in a total of 11 other lawsuits. One of the most notable cases involving Cassie, who has reportedly dealt with this kind of situation for a whopping 11 years. However, Talia is not just any random person. She's being represented by Gloria Allred, a well-known lawyer who has a reputation for taking on tough cases, especially those involving women. And let's be real, Gloria has been around the block a few times. She's represented women in some major scandals like the infamous O.J. Simpson trial and the Scott Peterson case. Remember Tiger Woods' messy public scandal? Yeah, she was involved in that too. She's also represented more than half of the women who accused Bill Cosby of SA. So, Talia is in pretty good hands. And while Diddy has pleaded not guilty to all charges, he's been denied bail twice despite his legal team offering a huge bail package. They proposed Diddy put up $50 million for his release, co-signed by his sister, mom, 3 adult sons, and the mothers of 2 of his children. The defense even suggested strict conditions, like limiting his travel, having him wear a GPS monitor, and restricting female visitors. However, U.S. District Judge Andrew L. Carter rejected the offer, saying it wasn't enough to guarantee the community's safety or protect the integrity of the case. This means Diddy remains in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, a jail known for its rough conditions. The MDC, housing over 1,200 inmates of both genders, has been criticized for its brutality, overcrowding, and staffing issues. Diddy's attorney, Mark Agnifilo, highlighted these problems, pointing out that 2 inmates have been killed since June, 4 have died by suicide over the past 3 years, and 6 staff members have been charged with criminal activity in the last 5 years. Diddy's legal team is pushing for him to be transferred to a different jail in New Jersey, but that decision is up to the Federal Bureau of Prisons. For now, Diddy remains at MDC, where high-profile inmates like R. Kelly, Ghislaine Maxwell, and Sam Bankman-Fried have also been held. Interestingly, Diddy and Bankman-Fried are in the same unit, which is designed to offer protection for well-known figures or inmates who need safety due to their involvement in ongoing investigations. While the conditions at MDC are notoriously bad, it's where many defendants are held while they await trial in Manhattan or Brooklyn courts. Some judges have even refused to send inmates there due to how run down it is, but for now, it's where Diddy calls home as he waits for his trial date. And ever since Diddy was moved to his special housing unit in MDC, there have been reports that he's had brief phone calls with his children. Diddy has 7 children, ranging in age from 33 to just under 2 years old, and he's reportedly very worried about how they're coping with his arrest. There are also claims that Diddy has stopped eating, either because he isn't enjoying the prison food or possibly because he's paranoid that someone might try to harm him by poisoning his meals. While it's hard to say whether this fear is grounded in reality, the conditions at MDC have been described as dangerous, even for a high-profile inmate like Diddy. Criminal defense attorney Imran Ansari, who has represented other celebrities like 50 Cent and Harvey Weinstein, explained that Diddy's arrest didn't come as a huge surprise. With the civil case turning into a federal investigation and the raids on his properties, it seemed like an arrest was inevitable. Ansari has had several clients held in MDC and confirmed that the jail is known for being overcrowded, aggressive, and poorly maintained. Though prisons are not meant to be comfortable, inmates still have basic rights, and MDC has been criticized for failing to meet those standards, according to the attorney.
He would likely be going to the MDC, the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, which we know from prior reports is no savory place. I mean, jail is not a savory place to begin with, but the MDC in particular has a reputation of being a pretty tough jail, so that's likely where Sean Combs is going.
Diddy is being held in a protective custody unit, which is meant to keep him safe due to his celebrity status. However, even in this specialized unit, he still faces the same poor conditions as the rest of the jail. He's under constant watch, his movements are heavily restricted, and he has less freedom compared to the general population. His day-to-day life in the protective unit is fairly monotonous, with limited recreational time and constant supervision from guards. After Diddy's arrest, he was placed on suicide watch, though it's unclear if this was for his safety or just a precautionary measure. Public sentiment has been intense, with many voicing that he shouldn't escape justice through death, arguing that he deserves to face punishment for his actions. But here's where things get even more intriguing. Reports suggest that Diddy may just be the tip of the iceberg. The feds aren't just after him, they seem to have a bigger target in mind. Diddy's arrest might be the start of a much larger investigation, and we're talking about big celebs like Jay-Z, Beyonce, LeBron James, the Kardashians, Anna Wintour, Paris Hilton, Jennifer Lopez, Tommy Lee, and Russell Simmons, whose career was already impacted by misconduct allegations, have all been mentioned. And if you think that's the end of the list, you're wrong. There's even more. Naomi Campbell was reportedly part of it, and when you were invited to these parties, you'd get an email with her voice saying you were invited. Mariah Carey was allegedly involved too, along with Usher. Adding another layer to this complex narrative is music mogul Clive Davis, who some sources allege is the mastermind behind a range of troubling enterprises linked to several controversies, including those involving R. Kelly. The accusations against Davis are serious, with claims that he has played a role in covering up misconduct for years. Notably, Jaguar Wright has drawn attention to Davis in her allegations. She has suggested that he helped Diddy hide a significant incident that occurred back in 1991 during a charity basketball game at City College. During this event, a horrifying stampede broke out, resulting in the tragic deaths of 9 young people, including children and a pregnant woman who was the girlfriend of rapper Father MC, signed to Uptown Records. Additionally, Ashton Kutcher has been making headlines ever since Diddy's arrest. The two have been close friends for decades, and their connection has sparked curiosity among fans and the media alike. In fact, there's an interview where Ashton was asked about Diddy's infamous parties, and he responded,
"Wow, okay, I've got a lot I can't tell." So, I can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them.
Interestingly, when all of this blew up, people started digging up some awful interviews and old clips dating way back, hinting at what was really going on at these wild parties. In one particularly strange moment, there's an interrogation video that's been making the rounds. The video dates back to 2018 and features a man named Jonathan Auty who went on a bizarre rampage at the Trump National Doral Miami Hotel. During his arrest, he shockingly brought up Diddy's name, demanding to speak with the FBI, CIA, and the media. At the time, people brushed it off as the ramblings of a disturbed man, but now with Diddy's arrest, Auty's eerie mention of the mogul has resurfaced, leaving many to wonder if there's more to the story than meets the eye. During the interview, Jonathan shockingly claims, "I had an intimate session with Cassie and Sean would tell me what to do with her." He describes his encounters with Cassie, saying he felt like a SX slave for Diddy. Cassie Ventura, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, is the one who filed the initial civil lawsuit that kicked off this entire legal saga. While she isn't explicitly named in the indictment, many believe she's referred to as victim number 1 in the S-ticking charge. And as we all know, her allegations paint a disturbing picture of mistreatment throughout their decade-long relationship. Cassie claims Diddy used his money and influence to keep her from leaving and would arrange for male escorts to come to their home or hotel rooms for elaborate setups, which were reportedly filmed. Additionally, Cassie asserts that she was often forced to take illegal substances during these encounters, while Diddy would either participate or watch. An anonymous source revealed to the New York Post that sometimes Diddy would even be in the room during these disturbing sessions, yet he could still monitor everything through an elaborate camera setup in his home.
Do you know Sean Combs?
Puff Daddy?
Yeah.
P. Diddy, whatever you call himself these days. Yeah, go ahead.
They move and they move liquid in the bottles too.
The chilling part of this is that the interview in question took place back in 2018, well before Cassandra Ventura's lawsuit, before the indictment, and even before we were all aware of what a freak-off was. This context really gives us pause. Interestingly, he claims to have participated in some of these SX sessions and even stated, "I caught HPs." He details how he returned to Diddy's camp afterwards, claiming that they were aware of the intimate disease but didn't do anything about it. He also references Christopher Leone as his attorney, who requested video recordings related to the case. He states that the recordings were accidentally returned to him and that he might have disposed of them, but he could potentially still produce a copy. This statement is particularly intriguing because it hints at physical evidence that could corroborate his claims. It's essential to remember that this interview occurred well before Cassie's lawsuit, which was filed in November 2023, so investigators at the time likely didn't fully grasp the implications of what he was discussing. Interestingly, another video is making rounds featuring young versions of former President Donald Trump and music mogul Sean Diddy Combs igniting conversations about crime and power among not just celebrities, but also influential politicians. This clip has quickly gone viral, stirring up significant attention and speculation. In the video, which was initially shared by an Instagram user and has since been deleted, Diddy appears candid as he reflects on his youthful mistakes. "I'm just a passionate young man and I made a mistake," he admits. Trump, known for his straightforward demeanor, responds with a tone that suggests a deeper understanding of the pressures that come with their status. "Well, everybody's going to get in trouble. It's a question of how you get out of trouble," he states.
And a few people were saying I was this violent character, just because I was breaking people's jaws and arms. And look at me, I'm like, I'm just a passionate young man and I made a mistake.
Well, everybody's going to get in trouble. It's a question of how do you get out of trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And I did it by working smart. More importantly than anything else is by using my own brain. I've done things, but I'm not in any trouble, and I'm doing well, and I'm making money.
Well, you're making the same mistakes that I am. You may just be able to hide yours a little bit better.
Perhaps, perhaps not. I don't know. I don't know. See, one of the problems with politics and politicians is that you really can't have done very much wrong, and that means you can't have done very much.
Yeah.
Which is why I have no intention of running for president.
Well, it's clear that this situation hasn't aged well for Trump. Many are now suggesting that the support Diddy received from powerful figures might be the reason he's managed to avoid serious consequences for so long. This revelation adds a layer of complexity to the whole scenario, as it raises questions about the influence of wealth and status in the justice system. In a surprising turn of events, an anonymous woman has filed another lawsuit on Friday, September 27th, claiming that Diddy SA'd her multiple times over a 4-year period, starting from when they met in 2020. The woman, referred to as Jane Doe, has shared in her legal documents that she became pregnant by Diddy but unfortunately suffered a miscarriage. According to Jane Doe, she first met Diddy while traveling abroad. He reportedly invited her on a lavish vacation, and she frequently visited his homes in Los Angeles, New York, and Miami between 2021 and 2022. In her lawsuit, she accuses Diddy of using manipulative and threatening language to persuade her to come to his properties, even sending drivers to her home as a form of intimidation. Jane Doe claims that she experienced physical injuries due to her alleged interactions with Diddy. She specifically mentions an incident in 2022 when she woke up with bruises and a bite mark on her body. Additionally, she accuses Diddy of tampering with her drinks and pressuring her to take substances during a separate incident in 2022, which led to her losing consciousness. After the alleged mistreatment, the woman discovered she was pregnant. She claimed that Diddy's associates attempted to intimidate her into having an abortion before she unfortunately experienced a miscarriage. The legal documents also accused Diddy of tracking her whereabouts and monitoring her conversations as a means to silence her regarding the alleged mistreatment. The court has decided to keep the case open, encouraging more victims to come forward and share their stories, assuring them that it's safe to do so now. Multiple sources suggest that several people who have worked with Diddy are already speaking with prosecutors. Rumors indicate that at least one male SX worker is preparing to testify before a grand jury soon, and the allegations are expected to extend far beyond what's been included in the current indictment. Prosecutors have reportedly spoken with over 50 victims and witnesses, meaning this is just the beginning. CNN has consulted several legal experts to understand what might happen next for Diddy and his associates. Most experts don't expect a plea deal for the music mogul, as the accusations against him may continue to grow. Shay Rhodes, director of the Villanova Law Institute, stated, "I will be very curious, especially since he's being held without bail, if that gives other survivors the courage to come come forward. Regarding those alleged to be part of Diddy's criminal activities, legal experts highlighted the challenges the prosecution faces in deciding whether to charge them or persuade them to testify against him. Trial attorney Misty Maris explained that the prosecution must carefully handle witnesses who might have questionable backgrounds or who may have been involved in illegal activities themselves. If convicted of the racketeering conspiracy charge, Diddy could face a sentence of up to life in prison, while the related charges carry a minimum sentence of 15 years. But what are your thoughts on this? Do you think Diddy is finally facing the music and might actually end up behind bars for good? Or do you believe there's more to the story than what's been initially revealed? Share your comments below. And while we wait for more updates on this unfolding saga, don't forget to like, subscribe, and check out our other videos for more engaging content like this. Your support means a lot.